You got it covered. Hello, everybody. We just want to welcome you tonight. Tonight we have a special guest with us that we're really excited to have. Joyce Day has been with us 2 or 3 other times, I think. She is amazing when it comes to her education, the way that she gets her education across. We love Joyce.
She's just dang smart.
Yes, she is. But she's one of those people that are really smart, that has common sense, and that you like to be around. Because some of those really smart people are kind of hard to carry on a conversation with.
Mm-hmm.
But Joyce isn't like that. So you guys are in for a treat. And she always has good stuff that she brings to the table. So we're really excited to have you with us tonight, Joyce. So it's all yours.
All right. Well, thank you guys for the gracious welcome, and I'm super excited to be here. I am going to share my screen with you because, being the great little student that I am, I did a PowerPoint presentation. So I just thought it'd be fun. You guys don't have to stare at my head the whole time, right? That's good. Okay. So can everybody see that okay? No's, yeses? Where's my
Yes.
left?
It's not the full screen, though. It's your
Okay.
regular. There you go.
There you go.
All right, we're in. All right, so I kind of named it this way, and I'm super excited to see how you guys feel about all this at the end of the talk here. So tonight I'll be presenting the quote unquote, you'll notice secret is in parentheses or in quotation marks here, the secret to getting more enrollments and getting unstuck. So I am Joyce Day. My team is Grow Your Green Family, and we are out of Central Illinois. And this is my family, my crazy little family. That's my husband and my 2 stepkids and my little toddler screaming in the back. We were on our way on vacation earlier this year, and we snapped this picture. I thought it was pretty cute. So that little girl in the very back is a big part of my why, and that's what led me into oils. And I'll share a little bit of that as we go here. But that's what kind of led me on this crazy journey that I never expected to be on. I'm a hydrogeologist. That's kind of my background. I specialize in groundwater contamination. And up until 3 years ago, up until 4.5 years ago when I had my daughter, I was expecting to be in that career for the next 30 years. I was really active in my career. I was active in the Illinois Groundwater Association and loved my job, worked really hard to get there, and was doing really good things. And then I had my daughter, and she was in daycare 50 hours a week, and I had no idea that I was going to be physically uncomfortable with that, and I just couldn't handle it. So about 3 years ago, along came Lynn Fingerhut on Tracy Kennebeck's team, and Tracy taught the class at Lynn's house, and I was introduced to doTERRA, and the rest is history. So a little bit more about my doTERRA story. So I went to that class in November of 2013 and spent a couple of months using the heck out of the oils, trying to convince myself, because I was a huge skeptic. I had a few, like 7 different Now brand oils, and I just thought that essential oils were like, I like to joke in my classes that I thought essential oils were like psychic readings. Like, they're probably good for some people, but they're not something I'm going to go spend a lot of time or money on. But I was happy to be educated with Tracy and Lynn, and I took the oils home and took them to work and put them on everybody that would hold still, and started sharing in January 2014 because, like I said, I was literally on my knees praying for a way out of my job. In September of that year, I was having dreams about selling our house in hopes that that would lower our bills enough that I would be able to go part-time or be able to quit my job, because I had the sweetest, most beautiful little baby girl I have ever seen, and I just wanted to be with her. So I started building in January 2014. I have never done anything like this before. The closest thing I've done to sales is beer. When I was in college, I was a bartender and a waitress, so I've sold beer and food. That's about it. And I had no idea what I was doing. So the few things that I have really going for me, which I'll talk more about here, is that I have a a lot of willingness and a lot of drive. And so I just took sort of a shotgun approach. So I was actually very blessed to rank to gold by the end of that year. And I have since stayed gold for 2 years. There's a lot of reasons for that. My team has gone through a lot of changes and our lives have gone through a lot of ups and downs. But I would say that I don't think that I'm a natural at this. I'm like a dog with a bone, and I just keep going and going and going and going and trying to figure it out. So I guess you could say that I am kind of stuck, right? And you hear this a lot, that as a lot of people in doTERRA, that as we build, we can often get stuck at a stage for a little while, or sometimes for a longer while. So if this happens to you, or you might be in the middle of being stuck right now, it's totally normal. And it doesn't mean that we suck. It doesn't mean that I'm failing. It doesn't mean that I need to quit or move on and find a new career. But, we do have to ask ourselves what's going on, and we have to move through. I think being stuck is kind of a process, and there's a lot of different things happening. So some of my greatest lessons over the last 2 years, I have discovered that I'm not really a natural networker. But I'm working on reframing. So while I am not a natural networker, I am learning to be a great networker. But I'm learning how to do that. I have not been great at relationships in the past, but I am learning how to grow relationships with the amazing women in my life and on my team, and even just people that I'm friends with. I'm very independent, and I'm used to working alone. And it turns out, this might come as a surprise, but we cannot do this business alone. This is not a do-it-yourself business. We have to work with other people. We have to help other people to succeed. And we have to work with other people above us, our uplines. And so that's a valuable lesson to learn. And I'm a great student. And boy, like I said, I'm a dog with a bone. You give me a mission and I will achieve it. There's nothing that will stop me if I make a decision to do something. But this is not a straight line business. So there's a lot of ups and downs and bumps in the road and lessons to be learned and all that fun stuff. So this is a lot of what I've been working through the last 2 years. And some of this is reasons why I haven't ranked. Somebody's coloring on my screen. That's not me, which is fine. Feel free to color, whoever's doing that. So in my search for a better way, because I guess another thing that I have going for me is I want to be successful at this. And because I do expect to be successful, because in the past, if I have been able to work really hard and achieve what I want to achieve. And this is like an enigma to me, because I can work really, really hard at this and not make progress if I don't address my shortcomings. And so I really want to help the people on my team to be successful, and I want to be successful. And if I'm stuck, that means that I'm missing something, or sometimes multiple things. And so I do have a willingness. I don't think that I have all the answers. And I have learned over my life that if I want to do something well, then I need to find other people who already do it well and ask them to show me the way, whether that's in person or through books or whatever. So in my search for a better way for network marketing and for doTERRA and for my team, I recently came across this book called Fanatical Prospecting, and it's totally been awesome, and it's rocked my world. I'm feeling incredibly nervous for some reason. Wow, this is so funny. So sorry, my voice is actually quavering a little bit. So anyway, I'm sure it's all good. I'll get over it. So I know that we have some really awesome networkers on our team. So some of this stuff, it may be like totally obvious to you. And if that's the case, that's awesome. Maybe this will help people on your team. But it was a huge perspective shift for me. And I am so excited to move forward. And I feel like this gave me some really specific skill sets that I was missing. And I think that a lot of doTERRA people are struggling with this too. So I think it'll be helpful. All right. I have something that I need to break. I've got some news I need to break to you guys. Now, If you're not sitting down, you should probably sit down. This is going to be huge. Okay. It was a shock to me, and I think it might be a shock to some of you guys as well. Okay. We are actually salespeople. I know we don't want to be salespeople. I've heard it so many times, the oils sell themselves. I even in the past have hesitated. People say, do you sell oils? Well, I'm an educator. Okay, well, that's okay. But the problem with that is that we are salespeople. A salesperson is an individual who sells goods and services to other entities. The successfulness of a salesperson is usually measured by the amount of sales he or she is able to make during a given period and how good that person is in persuading individuals in making a purchase. We have the benefit of residual income with network marketing, but our paychecks are dependent upon the sale and purchase of products. Like, there's no way around that. We can say that we're educators, but if no one buys anything, we don't get paid. An educator is someone who gets paid just for educating, and they don't have to sell anything. They just get paid as teachers. But we actually only get paid if somebody buys something. So as painful as it can be, we are salespeople. Now, I didn't want to say that I was a salesperson. I really had a hard time with this, especially coming from a professional background. The last thing that I wanted to, from an ego's perspective, was to say, oh, well, I was formerly a hydrogeologist and now I'm a salesperson. It's just not that fun or sexy or anything, right? Like, it's hard to feel warm and fuzzy about yourself when you're saying, oh, I'm a salesperson. But I think that I'm not saying we got to go around telling everybody we're a salesperson. We don't have to make up big t-shirts saying we're doTERRA salespeople. Nothing like that. But I think that there's a mindset shift here that can happen, and this can actually empower us. And it can break us free of this very passive mindset that, we're just floating along, sort of educating people. And if people accidentally, when we're not looking, buy stuff and we make money on it, that's really great too. But we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to focus on it. We can actually just come out of the closet and admit this and face it and do some good things with it. It's just a mindset thing. So, okay. Oops. All right. So what does it mean to be a good salesperson? Okay. Superstar salespeople are people that are always on the lookout for new people to talk to. They're positive. They've got a lot of confidence. I mean, we've run into these people. We might even have people on our teams. But have you ever seen someone on your team that's really awesome at this, and you look at them and you think, what the heck, what are these people doing that makes them so awesome? And why don't I have this? So I think it's helpful to have sort of a mindset or a list of characteristics of people that are good at this, because don't we want to be good at this? I mean, if we want to rank advance, if we want to get unstuck, if we want to enroll more people, we want to be good at this. And not so that we can get people to do things they don't want to do. It's not an ethics thing here. It's not about becoming a pushy salesperson. It's a superstar salespeople. Superstar salespeople are really good at this. They're so good at it that people don't even realize they're being sold to, right? We're doing such an effective job of helping people and helping them through sales that they don't feel pushed, right? So they are relentless, but not in the crazy stalker sense. They're persistent. They don't drop the ball. They're organized. They know what they're doing. They have a thirst for knowledge. They have learned skills. Some of the best salespeople in the world, they didn't just wake up and decide to start their own business and just rush out and suddenly they're a superstar salesperson. Traditional salespeople, they go through crazy amounts of training. I'm just starting to figure this out. I mean, seriously, have you ever been to one of those, Toby and I got sucked into one of those. We didn't realize what it was when we bought it, but you go to this resort and then they end up doing this 3-hour pitch to you, trying to get you to buy a timeshare thing. And the whole time I was there, I was okay with it. I don't mind sitting through stuff like that because it's really interesting to watch people do their business, right? This is a highly trained sales professional. there to get people to spend thousands and thousands of dollars, right, on something that's just vacation and extra. So I found it fascinating. But that guy's obviously, he didn't just wake up that day and decide he was going to go sell some property stuff and show up for work and just kind of wing it. They put him through intensive training to get him really good at it, right? So they have a thirst for knowledge. They're systematic, they've got a process, and they are adaptive and flexible. Okay. So what happened here? That's not supposed to be there. So I guess the point I'm trying to make here is, how do we get more successful? How do we get unstuck? This slide's in the wrong place. We want to prospect more. Jeb Blount, the guy that works, that wrote this book that I read, he says that the more you prospect, the luckier you get. Do you have people on your team that enroll people regularly, and then occasionally they just have like these awesome things happen, and you're just, man, what if I could have stuff like that happen? I would love to have somebody sign up with the Every Oil Kit. That would be amazing. But they're consistently working with people. These are people that are consistently out there doing their business, and they do have these really lucky opportunities. So it's really hard for those of us that are feeling stuck to have really lucky, awesome opportunities because, I mean, we're stuck and we don't have a huge amount of prospecting that we're doing to be able to bring in more. So it's like playing the lottery. The more lottery tickets you have, the more chances you have to win. It's kind of along those lines, is that the more people that we work with, the more we're going to enroll and the more we're going to find rock star builders and things like that. So in traditional sales, people talk about filling their pipeline. These are salespeople, right? And their whole lives revolve around selling their product, whatever it is, whether it's software or cars or whatever. They will talk about this idea of a pipeline. Now we talk about it too. Our idea of a pipeline is our names list. Okay, so I wanted to bring that analogy in. So we find new people to talk to, and we put them in our pipeline, or if you don't like the sales analogy, you could use your names list. You know, how many of us have done a names list and then it's like, okay, I checked that off the list. I did my names list. My upline told me I should do a names list, so I've checked that off. And where is that names list? Do we ever look at it? And I'm talking for myself, I didn't. I made the names list in Excel and then never opened it. I mean, the last time I opened it was probably like a year and a half ago. Sometimes I'll do name lists in a notebook, but then I'll lose that notebook, or I leave it at home and I end up writing in a different notebook. And then I've got 5 notebooks going and I've got notes on this person and that person and whatever. I'm not organized, right? But that's our pipeline. That's our names list. Okay. Now this doesn't mean just because somebody's in your pipeline and you're working with them, it doesn't mean that we're stalking them, that we're pushing them to enroll. If we put someone in our pipeline and as we take them through the sales process, we find out they're working out with somebody else, then we would drop them from our pipeline, right? We would put them on the back burner and refer them back to that person. I'm not advocating for doing pushy or salesy type stuff. Okay. I'm talking about legitimate, putting people on your name list and taking them through this process to help them decide if oils are the right thing for them. So remember, it takes 5 to 12 touches on average before someone is open to trying a new product or opportunity. So everyone that you've ever talked to, you've prospected, right? You either knew them already or you met them somehow and you think of them as a potential person that would want to use oils. They therefore are a prospect. It's okay to use this terminology. It doesn't make you a bad person or being salesy or pushy. It's just getting yourself in a business mindset. We are business people. We want to build a huge company for ourselves, a thriving company. So it's okay to use some of the lingo that a thriving business person would use. So they have a variety of prospects that they want to introduce oils to. They put them in their pipeline, AKA they put them on their names list, and they actively work with their names list or their pipeline on a daily basis. And they keep track of where that person is in the process of introducing them to oils. Okay. Now, there's systems that we can use. There are steps that we can create. We can get organized. We'll talk about that more in a few minutes. Now, people, just because we put people in our pipeline, it's not a guarantee. It's not like, okay, they're in my pipeline, I own them now. They're mine until they sign up. Traditional salespeople, they're selling huge $100,000 software package. They can go into a company and they'll work with a client, and they'll prospect them, and they'll send them information, and they'll touch back with them every 3 months, and they'll do all these things. They finally get the chance. They do a pitch. They go in and do a presentation for them, and the company goes in a different direction. They end up not getting that software. That's okay. It's not devastating. That salesperson's not going to give up. They're not going to quit. That salesperson is just going to say, well, darn it, man, I missed out on that one. But that's okay, because they've got 50 other people in their pipeline that they're working on, and they will help some of those people get started with their product, just like we will. So they think this mindset frees us from some of the emotional ups and downs that we can experience with, just trying to not admit that we're salespeople, just kind of the way we tend to do things as we're working, that I find that I did, and I think a lot of us do when we're working in the doTERRA business. So if a person goes a different direction, that's okay. No biggie, move on. So in the book, Fanatical Prospecting, Jeb outlines this 30-day rule. So he said he's having this conversation with a salesperson, right? It's March, and in the sales world, they do a lot of quarterly projections, and then they're supposed to meet those projections. So each sales team says, we're going to sell $150,000 worth of product by March 31st, right? And then they tell their bosses this, and then they're responsible for selling that much stuff, right, as a team. So this guy calls Jeb, and he says, look, Jeb, I really need some help, because Jeb Blount is he's a really expert, world-renowned salesperson. He goes in and does trainings and stuff now. So he calls him up and he says, I'm really struggling. We're getting down to the end of the quarter. I made these projections, and I'm supposed to have all this product sold, and my team has nothing. We've got nothing in our pipeline. We don't have any, hardly any prospects. The prospects that we do have, it's like the same people. And I just need some help closing, because I've got 10, of these prospects, and I've been working on them for months, and, there's no movement happening. I'm not being able to close any deals. I'm not getting anybody going, Does that sound familiar? I mean, how many times have I heard people myself say, God, I've got 10 people that I've given samples to, and I've done classes for, and I followed up with them a million times, and just I keep checking back with them, and nothing's happening, It just really struck me. It felt like such a doTERRA thing. And he starts talking to this guy, and he coaches him through it. And he's like, all right, so tell me what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And they chat back and forth. And he says, tell me what's been going on. What was going on in December for you guys? And he works him through. And basically the concept that he's breaking reminds this sales guy of is the 30-day rule. So he talks to him, and it finds out that in December, it was Christmas, right? And they were also really busy because they had done a lot of prospecting in October and November. They had some good stuff going on. He had gotten some good contracts signed in December, and then the holidays hit, and he just sort of backed off, and he was busy. And then after Christmas, he was busy following up with people. And, he just, and then all those deals got closed. We have that happen. You're working on 3 or 4 people, and then they all sign up, and then you do the follow-ups with them. And then all of a sudden it's okay, those guys are all set. And now I don't have any new people to sign up. Oh my God, what do I do? And so he talks about there's a 30-day rule in sales, and that the prospecting that you do this month in December is going to be what generates your business for the next 90 days. So if you take this whole month of December off, then the next 90 days, you might be able to fill a few things out in January, some things that were lingering from November, like maybe somebody will come back to you, or you'll follow up with somebody that in November said they were going to sign up. So you might be able to get a little bit of business maybe in the next few weeks, but come 90 days, you're going to be stuck. You're going to be in a slump with nobody to talk to, sitting there thinking, what the hell happened? Why don't I have anybody to talk to? And then, so he says, conversely, if you find that you're in a slump right now, look back over the last 90 days and ask yourself, how much active prospecting have you actually done? And that's what he did with that guy. And basically went back to, well, shoot, I wasn't out talking to new people. I wasn't bringing new people into my pipeline. we can't just do it every once in a while, because if we bring new people, this happens apparently to big sales teams all the time. They'll go out, do some big marketing deal, find a bunch of new business. They'll bring in a bunch of new people into their pipeline. They work through the whole process, but then they stop prospecting because they're so busy signing those people up, right? They're so busy helping those people get started that they forget to go out and keep finding new people to talk to. And so after 30 or 60 days, they've taken all that work, and then all of a sudden they haven't been bringing new people on behind that. And then they're stuck and they're not able to reach their sales goals. And I know that that's happened to me. And I just didn't realize it. I didn't realize that's what had happened. My mom and I did a big push in Champaign, Illinois, which is about 80 miles away. We booked a bunch of classes at a vendor show with the whole keychain thing. For those of you that have been around for a while, a couple of years ago, we came up with this whole keychain thing for hosting classes at a vendor show. And anyway, we booked like 8 classes in 3 hours, and we had all these classes and all these one-on-ones and all these follow-ups, and we were working. And then all of a sudden it's like all that work finally got done, and then I had nobody to talk to. And then my mom and I are sitting there like, okay, shoot, now we got to get out and find new people to talk to because we've taken care of all that work. So I thought it was really fascinating that this actually applies. I think the 30-day rule could be even the whole 90 days. It could be even a little less for us because we don't have huge pipelines. We're usually only working on a few people at a time. And if you're only working on a few people at a time and you're not prospecting and bringing on new people, you could be dead in the water within, I think, a month or 2. So anyway, so hopefully this is helpful to you. Basically, when we're talking about prospecting, it needs to be a continuous effort. Okay, so we have to continually be seeking out new people to talk to. So if you're feeling really stuck right now and you've been working on the same few people, you might ask yourself, when is the last time you added some totally new names to your list? I know that's really difficult, isn't it? It's like, damn it, that's not what I wanted to hear. I want there to be a magical answer that I can get unstuck because people just magically show up and want to buy oils, darn it. Not because I have to get out there and do stuff that makes me literally like my heart. My heart is quavering right now. And it's you guys. I'm not even talking to new strangers. I'm talking to other oilers, but I still feel nervous. And that's how networking is. So anyway, continually seeking out new people to talk to is called prospecting. Okay. So we have to grow our network. It's like opening a restaurant, right? I like to use this analogy with new builders. We can't open a restaurant and expect our family and friends to be our entire clientele. It's not going to happen. Your restaurant is going to die a quick or sometimes slow and painful death. We have to get out and talk to people we don't know. There's a lot of different ways that you can do that. I really like to do it through vendor shows. You can do it by going into brick and mortar businesses and chatting with them. A lot of people, or not a lot, some people like to do it online or through social media. Networking events, out and about during your day, picking up business cards. I was at Panera a couple weeks ago and watched the boot camp for those of you doing Cinduit, and was there all afternoon. I met with somebody, had lunch with somebody, networked with them, and then I watched the boot camp, and then I did work stuff, and then I had to go pick up my daughter. So while I'm putting all my stuff away, there'd been this other guy sitting in the other corner of the building, and he saw me packing up, and he started packing up, and he's like, oh, hey, you're finally getting out of here. And I said, yeah, I've been working on work stuff all day. What are you up to? Oh, I work for Caterpillar. I'm just in town doing stuff. I've been here working all day too. So I sit over there, blah, blah. We went back and forth. I practiced, if you watch the boot camp week 1 for Cinduit, I practiced my emo actual little spiel. We just watched that recently. So for those of you that are watching the boot camp, you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, that's okay. Don't worry about it. But anyway, I practiced being able to share what I do with him, which was great. And it was just practice. And I did get his business card, and I don't know. I mean, I'll reach out to him and see if we connect and everything, but I gave him my business card and we had a great conversation. So that was an opportunity. It was just some guy at Panera, right? Cold calling. I know that's painful for a lot of people. I'd be happy to talk about that. I have done cold calling my first year when I was doing the shotgun approach and just trying to grow my business. And I actually did get people, I got new people on my team that are still here and are even sharing and building. So Cold calling is an avenue. And then just getting out, pounding the pavement, that's kind of the brick and mortar thing. I didn't realize those were kind of the same thing. So these are just some options for getting started, but you can pick from, several of these and figure out what works best for you to get out there and bring new people into your network that you have never met before. I'm going to keep saying that because that's what I mean. It's about getting out there and talking to people we don't know. So I'd be happy to touch more on how we do this exactly. We can do that in the discussion part, but I think it needs to be said. So we've gathered a bunch of names because this has been me for the last year or two. I love networking now. I love getting out talking to people about it. I have the largest pile of business cards that I've ever seen before. It's insane. It's taking over my life. I just got a new phone app that I can take photos so I can get rid of some of these business cards. It's crazy. It's seriously like a crazy pile of business cards. So does that mean that we're networking? Does that mean we're growing our business if we have 1 million business cards and a bunch of names of people? No, because, okay, we've gathered some names. Now what? Learning how to do this takes skill. So even from this webinar, hopefully none of you will leave this webinar thinking that, okay, you've got the answer now. Because, I think that we have to ask ourselves, do we really believe that we know what we're doing? I don't, and I'm willing to admit that. And I think some of us, we try to convince ourselves, or maybe it just makes us feel better if we think that if we just keep doing what we're doing, eventually we're going to get success. But that's not true. The definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results, right? So if we've been doing this for a couple of years, and I think this webinar hopefully will be the most helpful for those of us that have been around for a while. So if you're still really new to this, give yourself some grace. You've got a lot to learn, and excitement will go a long way for your first, 6 months to a year of doing doTERRA. But if you've been doing it for longer than that, and you really want to continue to do it and you want to hit diamond, it might be worth considering that approaching people takes skills. Seriously, skills that you have to learn. Even if you're naturally good at it, there's still more stuff that you can learn. So, you're going to want to invest in that. Are you willing to consider or admit that maybe you don't know what the heck you're doing? And if you don't, that's okay. Just admit it, because when you admit it, you can get training and actually learn how to do it. Okay. And ask yourself, am I just winging this? Because I think a huge majority of us are just winging it. And we just keep thinking that if I wing it long enough, that I'll find people. And I'm here to tell you that's true. I've been winging it in a lot of ways, but I do seek out training. So I'm not totally winging it, but in a lot of ways I do wing it. And it just makes us grow more slowly. But wouldn't you like to get there faster? If there's a shortcut, if somebody could just tell you this is how you do it, wouldn't it be really nice to just know? So the answer, you have to ask yourself these questions, find out where you're at with it. So there's tons of training for learning about sales. Try looking into learning, look for trainings on traditional sales. It doesn't matter if it doesn't perfectly match what you do with doTERRA. Take what you like and leave the rest. But I guarantee you there's going to be good learning in there for you. There's going to be really good things for you to walk away with and use. So look for online webinars and trainings. You can get a lot of stuff for free. Find yourself a good sales group that you like that teaches these kind of trainings, and just follow their blog or watch for podcasts. Sales Gravy is Jeb Blount's, this is the book. He has a website called Sales Gravy, and he gives away a ton of free stuff on there, a ton of free content. You can get a huge amount of resources for free. You don't need to do a $500. If you see places selling $500 or $1,000 training things, you don't have to do that. This book is $13. And it will rock your world. He goes very specifically into skills about, you got somebody's business card. What the hell do you do now? You got to go through a process. You need to reach out to them in a way that doesn't freak them out or scare them or cheesy salesperson approach. You need to be able to talk to them in a way that's real, that you would feel comfortable with, but also takes you directly to the path of, hey, I would really love to talk to you about oils. But we want to approach people in a way that they feel receptive to that, and we don't trigger their alarm bells of, oh my God, cheesy salesperson, delete, delete, delete. We don't want that. He gives you specific skills on how to do that I'm implementing and using and feel super, super excited about. So And I've done a lot of training, and I've been on a lot of webinars, and I've seen a lot of what not to do. And I've never found anybody that gave me really specific tools on how to talk to people and he covers emailing, texting, phone calls, cold calling, and prospecting in general, what to do and what not to do. So the book is absolutely amazing. So look for free trainings, look for webinars. Audiobooks are good. Start with this book, Jeb Blount, Fanatical Prospecting. Seriously, treat it like a textbook. If you could, people go get master's degrees for 2 years and spend thousands of dollars to become a professional at whatever they choose to be. Would you not be willing to spend $13 on an audiobook or get the hardback, actually? Get the audiobook so you can listen to your car, but also get the hardback so that you can study it and take notes, because seriously, it's amazing. Would you not be willing to invest even a month, even if it takes you a month, even if with being in school, or maybe you got kids, or maybe you've got a job? I don't know what your life is, but if you could just spend a certain amount of time every week and study this book and make it your own and really learn what he's trying to tell you, and do that for a month or two, wouldn't you be willing to invest that for something that could pay you back 5 figures a month in the next year or two? I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to me. Cinduit Bootcamp, for those of you that are on it, has some really good material that I'm enjoying. And getting out and actively networking. I know we're all busy, guys. Everybody's busy. Nobody's not busy. I don't know anybody that's like, yeah, I've got a ton of free time. Let's network every week. Nobody's like that. Everybody's busy. We all have the exact same amount of time on our schedule. And, if we want to be successful, you think about it. If you're a diamond, you have this great, wonderful, beautiful oil business. You want to be a professional, right? You want to be out networking and talking about your business. You got to do it. Networking is critical, and it teaches you how to talk to other people about your business. So find a monthly networking event. I don't care what it is. You can find free ones. You can find ones that you pay $10 a month to go to. Look for a good one. If you don't know what that means, then ask around and go to the networking events and make a plan of action to improve your skills, make a marketing plan, understand who you're targeting. That's something else I'm learning. I have a plan. I'm not just going out networking for random, like any warm body that shows up. I'm actually, not that I would turn them away, but I actually have a list of people, or an idea of who I want to approach and why, and how am I going to approach them. And then I look for people as I'm networking that fall into that group so that I can specifically target them. And I'm using the skills that I learned in this book to do it. So I was saying earlier at the beginning before we started that I was hoping, I kind of wished that I was a couple weeks down the road, because I've sent email. I spent the day today sending out emails and working on these techniques and processes and practicing it all. And I'm really excited to see what the results are going to be. So hopefully maybe I could check back in a couple weeks and let you guys know where I'm at with it, and maybe find out from you guys where you're at with things. So if you're really serious about this, after you read the book, go get the book first. Just read the book. Don't do anything else. Just go get the book and read it and study it. And then when you decide to implement, many of us are familiar with Cinduit. There are a couple of other apps out there. Lead Train is one that I'm playing with right now, and another one that's called FitFu. And FitFu is Fortune is in the follow-up. Okay. And both of these, Cinduit is more mass-based. So it's about uploading these big lists of people, prospects, teams, all that. And then you send them, it's all automated emails and Facebook posts and events and things like that. But it's kind of tough because you're working with mass lists, and it's not as easy to work with individual people and where they're at in the process. Whereas with Lead Train and FitFu, it's not big mass lists. It's more individual. You can keep track of, you talk to them on the phone, you gave them a sample, blah, blah, blah. It creates a priority list of where you're at with each person. So each day I can look at my list of things I need to do. And it reminds me that, well, Sally got their kit, so you need to schedule a follow-up with her. Bob, you dropped off a sample to Bob 3 weeks ago. You need to follow up. Not 3 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like 2 days ago, whatever. It gives me my list of things to do. So I don't have to keep all that in my head or on 15 million pieces of paper. It's all in one place. I'm working on getting this up and running so that I can have less brain distraction in my life, so that I can put my business into one of these and then keep track of everybody and not have to. It's hard to be disorganized. Okay. So basically that's my presentation. And I hope you don't feel like gypped or something, that I don't have any magical secrets for you. The answer to getting unstuck is to get out there and prospect more. And I know that can be really hard. And there's some emotions with feeling stuck. So I don't discount that while I am smiling and laughing. I understand what it feels like to feel stuck and discouraged in your business. And so I am not saying it in a way like, you're clearly not doing enough, you need to get out there and prospect more. I am not saying it like that. I am saying it with a lot of love. And don't, so if you're feeling stuck and you feel like, man, I'm already doing all these things and, nothing's coming out of it, and now you're telling me I need to get out there and do more. I know that can be really hard maybe to hear. And especially when you're feeling discouraged. So if you're in that space, I would highly recommend that you find an upline, somebody that's kind of nurturing and that's been through being stuck, that can help guide you and work with you so that you can, because the answer still is going to be that we are going to do more, but you can partner with an upline and work through that process with somebody else. And it's helpful. If you're feeling stuck, you need to work with somebody else to come out of being stuck. So that's my perspective on it. So anyway, that's all I've got. I know this thing is flashing and I don't know how to read the comments. So I don't know. I don't know if there's questions or anything. I can't read the chat for some reason. Oh, there it is. Okay. So does anybody have questions? Sorry if that was too much information. No? It was perfectly clear. Is everyone horrified? It's okay.
I've got questions, Joyce, Iris. And
Okay.
I was wondering if you have tried other trainings or audiobooks besides what Jeb has. You said you're always.
That was really good. That was really good.
Really good.
Iris, I have done a lot of different trainings. I'm sorry, I don't have a good brain for remembering titles.
Okay.
So I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but yeah, I think that really I'm continually doing them.
Mm-hmm.
I really am doing some kind of, I'm not talking like every single day, but I would say I listen to audiobooks in my car on a regular basis, like every day. And I look for webinars and things on building an email list and how to do marketing and I listen to so much of that. I watch for a lot of free webinars. And so some of it's junk because it's free and some of it's really good. So you just never know. So you just try to fit it in as best you can.
Okay, thank you.
Hey,
Mhm.
Joyce, one that you also often recommend is Eric Worre's Go Pro, right? That's like one of the go-tos.
Yes. Thank you for that reminder. Eric Worre is awesome. Anything you watch with Eric Worre is great. So.
Always Eric Worre.
Yes.
We missed you this year, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to go next year. I had that sad little, aw, they're there.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But it didn't work out this year. This has been a tough year for us with different things going on. So, but next year I'll be there.
But you were missed. We just want you to know that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I missed being there too.
You should try and come for the women's event, Joyce.
Yeah, I thought about it. I'm actually kind of maybe sort of thinking about possibly kind of doing Diamond Club maybe, but don't hold me to that. I might change my mind. I did it 2 years ago and I'm like, really? Are you really going to do this? But I'm going around talking to my team, talking to my husband. We're kind of thinking it through and I don't know, we might do it, we might not, but so I don't know if I do that, I might do it. I don't know. Let's see.
Well, I think this topic was really good. I think people get really freaked out about the idea of being a salesperson. That was something that freaked me out. And I think being able to work through this and the way that you explained it and the resources, I think this was really good. I think the talking to people and prospecting, I hate the word prospecting. I mean, it's just reality. That's just what it is. But there's just something about it for my head that I just don't like that word. But that's what we're doing, period.
Mm-hmm.
But it is the idea for me is that we're still talking, and it is the relationship that goes along with it. You will become a slimy salesperson if you forget about the relationship aspect of it. So that's the main thing. And just really, really do this on purpose. Really, really be aware of your surroundings and the people that you're around, and just do it on purpose.
And put love behind it. I mean, that's the beautiful thing. We aren't slimy, weird salespeople making cold calls to people on phone lists that we got in from Comcast.
Right.
We're doing it on the up and up. We're doing it by being out in the community and talking to people. And we really believe in what we're doing. We're not salespeople selling used cars. We're sharing with people about essential oils. So I think it's all about our mindset and how we approach it. And
Right.
yeah. So somebody asked a question about what did you learn to put in your recent emails? He goes through it in the book, but basically it's a mindset shift from a lot of salespeople will approach emails and text messages from their own selfish perspective. I would love to get together with you to share with you all about my amazing products. Well, he just points out that, that's a classic salesperson pitch, that you didn't say anything about them. You're not making it about them. You're making it about yourself. I want to take up some of your time to tell you why I'm so amazing and my company is so amazing and you should buy our stuff. I mean, that's basically what you just sent to them. And there's so many people sending out emails like that we all delete that stuff. I do. I mean, how many company emails have I gotten from all sorts of different products of trying to get me to buy stuff? And, we need to talk to people in a way that catches their attention, and it relays to them that you're focused on their needs. And he's very specific in the book on how to do that. So I'm not going to go into a ton of information on it because I want you to read the book. Yeah.
And I think another really good one that you brought up was the 30-day or the 90-day plan deal, because so often we have 3 or 4 people that we're working with, and we put so much time and effort into those 3 or 4 people trying to get them to enroll and get them on board. And then we forget that, or it comes all of a sudden, yep, we got 2 out of the 4 or something like that. But now what? Because now we don't, like you said, we don't have any prospects to go on to. We got to start all over again. And that leaves a lag in there of 1 month or 2 months or whatever. And so we need to plan ahead and keep those prospects coming all the time.
Yep. That's exactly my whole doTERRA story. Is I have a few people that I'm working with. I mean, Mark, you just nailed it. That's exactly how my story's been. And then I'll go, a few weeks or a month without enrollments because I didn't have anybody, it's because, and he makes the other point that let's say we have 5 or 6 people that we're working with, and traditionally, if we're realistic with ourselves and we think about how many, if we're working with 5 or 6 people, we only probably are going to enroll 2 or 3 of those. And let's just be realistic, right? I mean, that's true for most of us. We have a few people we're working on, but sometimes those people go away. We drop the ball and we forget about them, or they quit responding because we didn't handle it properly, or for whatever reason, or they sign up with somebody else, or something else happens. So of the people that you're actually working with, how many do you actually sign up? So if you have 10 people on your pipeline or on your list, but you only tend to sign up 1 or 2 of them, then in order to sign up more people, you would need to say to yourself, well, if I only sign up 1 or 2 of the 10 people that I'm working with, but I want to have a goal of signing up 6 or 8 people a month, then I need to be prospecting or have, what did I say, 10? So I would need to have 40 people in my pipeline with the expectation that I would then sign up 6 or 8 of them, if that's what my track record is. So, I mean, we can get that technical with it. If we want to, there are people on our team that regularly sign up 7 or 8 people a month. So they are continually bringing on new people and working with them. They have a big enough pipeline, or you can, if that doesn't work for you and you think, oh my God, there's no way I can have 40 people in my pipeline and only sign up 5 or 6 people. Well, then you've got to develop your skills so that you're signing up more of those 10 people. That's your other option, right? You can learn any of this stuff.
And you need those 40 people every month. I mean, your pipeline needs to continually have that 40 people.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, go down to 30 and then keep it at 30, and all of a sudden you got 20, and it always has to have that 40 people in it, or you are going to have months where you're sitting there dead in the water.
Yep. I love that analogy of dead in the water too. That's exactly what it feels like, isn't it? It's like, I have no one to talk to. And I work with my team, and after being in this business for 3 years, and some of you guys that are on here, I'm sure can relate. It's like, okay, I've been in this business for a while, and you got new people coming on, and they're going through their struggles, and they're feeling stuck, and they're feeling discouraged, and they're working really hard, and some good things are happening, but they want it to happen faster. And I work with my people, and I think, oh, I wish I had some magical answer. That it just is what it is, right? This is the job, and you can either improve your skills to become more effective at it, or you can continue to struggle along and grow slowly, which is what I had chosen to do the last few years. Just worked really hard and, trying to improve my skills, but I'm not a rock star enroller. I tend to average 3 to 5 enrollments a month on average. And there have been plenty of months that I didn't enroll anybody. So, but I'm trying to improve my skills because, gosh darn it, I see these people out there that are signing up a bunch of people every month. And I think, what the heck are they doing that I am not doing? Because I feel like I'm working pretty hard. So then I just have to watch what they do. And I've tried to spend a lot of time talking to those people lately. Although ironically, they don't really know what to tell you. They're just like, I just do what I do. I don't know what to tell you. So I felt like this book was sort of an inside look at these awesome people that are signing up, quite a few people every month, that I would say they are fanatical prospectors, right? They are consistent about, they're doing everything this guy's doing in the book. They're just naturally pretty good at it. I mean, there are people out there like that. I'm just not one of them. So anyway.
But you're going to be.
Yes, I am. And I'm so excited about it because I'm like, rock on it. I mean, he answers so many of my questions that I'm just like, that's what I've been doing wrong. And sometimes that's what I've been doing right. So he's done a really good job with this book. I really feel good about it. So yes, I look forward to reporting back and hopefully rocking out 2017 and breaking out of this stuck phase that I'm in. Although I'm really close to that now. I'm excited. I've got some good people on my team and I just love them to death. Tiffany and Cinda and Christy Reese, Lisa Kowalski, and Cinda Garst. I love you guys. And I'm so excited to have you guys working with me. So anyway, anybody else have questions?
I do. Can I ask you something real quick?
Yep, go for it.
Okay, I didn't know it was for me. Joyce, I've been.
I was just going to tell you one other
Somebody else is trying to talk, sounds like. Is it frozen?
Go ahead, Deanne. I can hear you.
Oh, okay, because somebody else was trying to talk at the same time, so I didn't want to interrupt them. But I've been having a lot of health problems, so I've not been able to do a lot here lately. And I've been going to a lot of doctor's appointments, and I went to a chiropractor, and I was talking to the girl who did the massage on me about the oils and stuff, and she seemed really interested, and I gave her my card, and I came by the next time I had to go to the doctor and gave her free samples. But then it's like, I think, should I have asked for her phone number? Should I have just let it go at giving her my card? I don't know quite how to, after I've talked to him about it, after I've given him my card and told him everything, I don't know where to go from there. And I don't want to be.
Well, I think what we have a habit of doing is, because we don't really know what to do, is we give people samples and we tell them sort of in a passive way what we do. And then we give them our business card, and then we're like, jump back and wait to see if they're going to call us and say, okay, enroll me. And how often does that happen? Nobody does that, right? Rarely, very rarely, So that's where, there are ways to engage people. You're looking for a back and forth. You have to learn how to ask questions that they can then respond back to, and you listen to what they say, and then it goes back and forth. It's the art of conversation. It's the art of developing a relationship with someone. And unfortunately, especially early on, we're so nervous and we don't feel like we know what to say. And so we just sort of like throw some samples at them and tell them what we do. And if you want to learn more, just call me and here's my business card. Well, you know, people just, that doesn't work. So I would say that there was some training that we had. So if you guys remember the oil game, you know, a couple of years ago, it was a big thing for training. And what's her name? Who's the big leader? Elise. Oh my God. Her training was amazing. I listened to it over and over again, where she taught you how to go back and forth, how to ask questions and take people through discovery questions and pain, you know, discovery or pain questions and all that sort of thing. So maybe we can dig up some of that material. I think I still have the PDFs downloaded and everything, and can go through that, because there is there is a back and forth. That's what you're looking for. So it depends on the circumstance. If you're there and you're having a massage from her and you have the opportunity to talk more, you could engage in that. If you're doing a prospecting thing where you just, you know, happen to walk by and you walked in and gave them your business card with some samples and said, look, I'm just getting started in the area, and you know, I really love these oils. I love educating about them. This book will help you, because he says when you're doing that, you don't want to you want to be able to say basically the way it goes, and I'm not articulating it well, but basically you're saying something along the lines of you know, my name is Joyce. I teach classes in the area about essential oils. You know, I can't help but notice that, you know, a lot of your clientele and people that are going to be interested in natural health options. And I don't know, Lisa, what's her name? Lisa Curtis. Is that her name, Romy, the gal that does the coaching for your team?
Lisa Grossman.
Grossman, yeah.
Lisa Grossman and Curtis Broom.
Yes, those guys. They've done some of this training too, that when Lisa taught this, that you would say, you know, I don't know if this is a good fit for you or not, but I'd love the opportunity to sit down with you and kind of go over some of the options and find out if, you know, if it might be a good fit for you or not. I just said that totally wrong because I'm getting tired, but you get what I'm saying. You're going to take people through a conversation, and I'm totally not making any sense anymore. But anyway, Deanne, I can give you some coaching on that. Maybe that would be another Zoom chat of ways to engage people in a way that's not being pushy. It's not assuming anything, and you've got to focus on the benefit to them. That's why you've got to make it so that they want to get together with you, because I'm kind of curious. I don't know, maybe this is a good fit for me. So anyway.
That's one of the things that Curtis talks about, and that's one of the things to focus on, is that it's all open-ended questions. It's all asking questions where they are continually talking about themselves. You want to always ask questions to get them to talk about themselves nonstop. And that's where it will be like that. And that's how we do it when we're building relationships anyway. Never ask a question that they can answer yes or no, basically, that kind of stuff. And always somehow figure out a way to get their contact information. What I do is I ask them immediately if they're on Facebook, because that's where I do stuff. And so if you both have your phones, you can do friend requests right then and there. And it's not a matter of, can I have your contact information so I can, you know, give you information that I have. It's a matter of, we should hook up. You know, maybe we can get together for coffee, or we can, you know, become friends on Facebook and stay connected and see what's going on and share what's going on with each other in our lives, that kind of stuff. That's how you want to do it. But always try and figure out a way to get that contact information. That was one of the biggest mistakes I made in the very beginning. I handed out samples like crazy and was scared to death to ask for their information so I could reach out to them and do the follow-up. It was just too pushy for me. That was just something that blocked me. But I'm not afraid of that anymore. Now it is, let's hook up. Let's figure out a way we can stay in touch yada, yada. I did it the other day. Got 2 people, one while I was getting my eyes done and one while we ate lunch. I have a meeting with the one tomorrow while we were eating lunch, and I'm friends with at both of them on Facebook, but you know, we just hooked up right there and you just talk life. It's just life.
Yep.
But just because they have a credit card doesn't mean that you should be talking to them. Period. If you don't want to be friends with them, don't do it. So.
Are we ready for a winner?
Are we frozen, Kenzie?
No.
What's that?
I said, are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready for a winner.
Yes.
Okay, I'm on my husband's computer, so I don't have applause tonight. So we need everyone to really be excited.
Man.
But the winner tonight is
What do we
for
give 'em?
Vetiver. What'd you say?
Ah,
Yeah, Vetiver, and the winner
That's what he was
is,
asking, what it was.
oh, the winner is Amy. Amy Guthrie, you are the winner.
oh,
Amy.
lucky dog.
Amy, you're rewarded for staying up late.
Yeah.
Finally.
The reward was Joyce. The vetiver's just a bonus.
Yes. Awesome. You can stop the recording, Kenzie.